Will Gremlins 3 happen? Steven Spielberg has to approve the script. Hold on to your popcorn. The chaotic little creatures that define 1980s creature features might be storming back into theaters. While fans last saw Gremlins tearing through New York City in 1990's Gremlins 2, The New Batch, actor Galligan, who starred in the original films, just dropped a bombshell at Comic-Con Manchester. A script for Gremlins 3 is finally complete, and Warner Brothers is eager to revive the franchise. But here's the catch. Hollywood legend Steven Spielberg, whose Amblin Entertainment produced the first two films, holds the keys to this long-awaited sequel. Galligan revealed the studio is waiting for Spielberg's approval before moving forward. Why Spielberg? The Oscar-winning director isn't just a producer. He's a creative force behind iconic 80s films like E.T. and The Goonies. While speculation swirls about whether he'll direct, produce, or simply bless the project, one thing's clear. His involvement could shape the film's tone, budget, and even its chances of honoring the series' darkly comedic roots. But here's where it gets controversial. Should a new Gremlins even exist without Joe Dante, the director of the first two films? Dante's anarchic style defined the franchise, and his recent work on HBO Max's animated Gremlins, Secrets of the Mogwai, proves he still understands these mischievous critters. Warner Brothers' push for Gremlins 3 isn't happening in a vacuum. The studio is riding high on nostalgia-driven hits like Beetlejuice, which grossed over $450 million globally. This success has executives betting big on reviving other 80s gems, including The Goonies, which, like Gremlins, was written by Christopher Columbus. Speaking of Columbus, he's reportedly involved in the new Gremlins script, adding credibility to the project. But let's address the elephant in the room. Can a sequel 35 years later possibly capture the magic of the original? And this is the part most people miss. The Gremlins universe isn't dormant. The animated prequel series, Secrets of the Mogwai, set in 1920 Shanghai, earned a flawless 100% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes, proving there's still appetite for these stories. With Season 2, The Wild Batch, split into 2024 and 2025 releases, Warner Brothers is clearly building momentum. If Spielberg greenlights Gremlins 3, filming could start by late 2026 for a potential 2027 premiere. But let's get real. Not everyone wants this sequel. Purists argue that the original Gremlins, a twisted holiday romp with biting satire, can't be replicated in today's sanitized blockbuster landscape. Others counter that fresh talent could reinvent the concept for modern audiences. What do you think? Should Spielberg give the go-ahead, or is this a recipe for disaster? Sound off below. And don't forget to mention whether you're Team Gizmo or Team Gremlin. Sources, comicmoviedb/TikTok. Deadline. Gremlins 3 update. Spielberg awaits script approval. A long-awaited sequel is on the brink of becoming a reality, but only if one legendary filmmaker gives the green light. That's right. The third installment in the Gremlins franchise could finally see the light of day, pending Steven Spielberg's approval of the script. This revelation came from none other than Galligan, the original Billy Peltzer, who dropped the bombshell during a recent Comic-Con Manchester appearance via Games Radar. The actor hinted that Warner Bros. Is incredibly interested in reviving the franchise, with the script currently sitting on Spielberg's desk, waiting for his signature. But here's where it gets controversial. Does the success of Beetlejuice, a 2024 box office smash that raked in $452 million, deserve credit for reigniting interest in Gremlins 3? Or is this just a nostalgic cash grab? Let's unpack the details. The original Gremlins, 1984, and its sequel, Gremlins 2, The New Batch, 1990, were cultural touchstones, with the former even credited for coining the PG-13 rating alongside Spielberg's Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. While the first film grossed $212 million worldwide, the sequel underperformed financially, but later became a cult classic. Fast forward 35 years, and the franchise has kept its spark alive through video games, an animated series, Secrets of the Mogwai, and The Wild Batch on HBO Max. And now, this potential new chapter. Galligan, who voiced Billy in the animated series, hinted that the studio's renewed interest might be tied to the success of Tim Burton's Beetlejuice, which proved that 1980s nostalgia still has legs in the box office. But what about the nitty-gritty? Warner Bros. Co-chief Pam Abdy recently teased collaboration with Spielberg's Amblin Entertainment on new entries for both Gremlins and Goonies, with Goonies 2 already in the works and Potsy Ponsaroli penning its script. Yet for Gremlins 3, no writer or director has been officially announced. This raises a question. Is Spielberg's involvement a blessing or a bottleneck? After all, his name carries weight, but does it guarantee creative freedom for a new generation of filmmakers? And this is the part most people miss. The animated series already tested the waters with new characters and storylines. Could Gremlins 3 follow a similar path, blending nostalgia with fresh ideas? The stakes are high. If approved, Gremlins 3 would join a legacy that's as much about chaotic fun as it is about cultural impact. But if it falters, will fans blame the script, the studio, or Spielberg's shadow? The answer might lie in the comments below. What do you think? Is this the right time for a Gremlins revival? Or are we chasing ghosts of the past? Share your thoughts and let's debate it out. Gremlins 3. Spielberg's approval and what we know so far. After 3 decades of waiting, fans of the mischievous Mogwai might finally get their wish. But there's a twist that could spark debate. Steven Spielberg's final nod is all that stands between a new Gremlins movie and the cameras rolling, according to Zach Galligan, the original Billy Peltzer. And the script? It's already been written, with Warner Brothers reportedly eager to move forward. But here's where it gets controversial. Should a modern sequel to an 80s classic require the same creative vision that birthed the original? Let's dive into the details and why this project might just divide fans more than the Gremlins themselves. Earlier this year, Warner Brothers hinted at a new wave of 80s nostalgia-driven films, including a sequel to The Goonies and a live-action Minecraft movie. But it's the Gremlins revival that's stealing headlines. Galligan revealed at Comic-Con Manchester that the studio has a finished script in hand, and now it's simply a matter of waiting for Spielberg's approval. After 35 years, they've come up with a script, he said, adding that the studio's enthusiasm is palpable. This development, he suggested, is partly fueled by the box office triumph of Beetlejuice, which proved that audiences still crave love letters to the past. But is nostalgia a surefire bet? Or does it risk alienating newer generations? The studio's strategy is clear. Leverage proven IPs with fresh takes. Warner Bros. Co-chairman Pam Abdy praised the collaboration with Amblin and director Chris Columbus, calling the Gremlins and Goonies projects super exciting. Columbus, who's been vocal about the Gremlins 3 effort since 2017, previously described the script as twisted and dark, working closely with writer Carl Ellsworth. And in a move that might please purists, the film will ditch CGI for traditional puppets and animatronics, a bold choice in an era dominated by digital effects. But this is the part most people miss. The project's success hinges not just on creative choices, but on Spielberg's legacy. If he signs off, filming could start as early as 2026, with a 2027 release. Yet questions linger. Should a sequel to a film so tied to its era's sensibilities even exist? Or does it risk feeling like a cash grab? And what if the Gremlins' chaotic energy doesn't translate to modern audiences? For now, the original films, Gremlins and Gremlins the New Batch, are streaming on Amazon Prime. But the real drama? That's just beginning. What do you think? Is this a nostalgic gem or a recipe for disaster? Sound off in the comments. We want to hear your take.